guys, I'm Nathan from Arms and Armor. This past weekend I was thinking a little bit about the differences between stick fighting and sword fighting, and I thought some of you might be interested. Stay tuned. So I was at a cool reenactment event this past weekend, and a guy I met had a really neat Victorian cane with some cool jeweler's marks and stuff on it that just made me want a cane fight. I really enjoy it. But it was a sword fighting situation. So it made me think about the different targets that you utilize with sticks and with swords. And this isn't something I've made up. Anyone who fights with sticks or swords will have some inklings about this. But I thought it might warrant a video. So Patrick here from the shop is going to help me. You can see he's well armored. He's got a stick. And right now, I've got a sword. This is just a blunt rapier. But if we were in a guard and he had a sword and his arm was extended, right? I might want to cut to the muscle belly of his arm such that he would have a hard time holding that stick, right? Or I could thrust here through his forearm, or I could cut to his hand, especially if I had a bit more robust blade than this. Those would all be good disabling shots. But otherwise, if I'm cutting at Patrick with a sword, with an edged weapon, right, pretty much going to get the point on them and in them, or cut to major muscles, organs, tendons, and ligaments, right? You're seeking the soft parts of the body when you're cutting and thrusting with a sword, right? Even the face, when you thrust to the face is a soft target. There's all kinds of entries into the brain and such things. When you're stick fighting though, it's a different deal. So this is a pretty cool, kind of swagger stick. It's a steel rod that's flexible, coated with leather washers. It's gotten a ferrule down here with a steel tip and a little metal head. It's reasonably light, right? When you're cane fighting, you don't need a super heavy cane. In fact, a heavy cane moves slowly. Instead, what you want to be able to do is whack them in the places where you can break some bone. So, if Patrick was holding the stick, right, I have no interest in whacking him on his muscle, on his arm, like I would cut him with a sword, right? It's just gonna hurt. And if we're actually in combat, it's not gonna inhibit him. He's gonna be full of adrenaline. He can still move, right? The reason you cut to these places with a sword is because you'll sever important muscles, tendons, ligaments that enable him to move. But with a stick, you wanna break their bones instead, right? So if Patrick comes up, right, that's a great spot. I wanna come around here and break his hand. And I can do it with the little end of this cane, right? There's maybe like an ounce of weight out here. This thing is flexible and it moves. That would totally break his hand, right? Patrick would not be carrying that stick anymore. Then I could choose to be merciful or not after that situation, right? Other places to hit him, right? If he's up in this guard, right, I could break his fingers. And if I go like that, he's probably gonna withdraw his hand. Oh, he may parry, or he may move his hand higher to get away. Either way, I just extend that strike, come this way a little bit, to his elbow. And if I hit him right here, it's just gonna hurt, broken elbow. Right? So you strike the bones with a stick. What other bones could I strike from right here? Right? I could strike down to the bone on the outside of his ankle. I could strike to the outside of his knee. I could also, if I had the heavier end of the cane, right, I could hit him across the ribs or to his hip bone, but both of those are mostly just gonna hurt, right? Even if you crack someone's ribs, it's not gonna fundamentally disable them from trying to kill you with a stick. You can take off your mask now. You have to go for the parts that are moving I've been thinking about this from doing armored combat recently, where a lot of what you're trying to do is essentially make it so that joints in their armor don't work anymore. Now, sticks aren't just for smacking, though. You can also thrust. And so when you thrust, it will not hurt you, but for example, R.G. Allenson Wynne, who wrote my favorite stick fighting book, Broadsword and Single Stick, back in the late 19th, early 20th century, talks about thrusting with the stick or umbrella. Right? And he thrusts to the sternum. Right? That's extremely unpleasant. And in fact, if you do a thrust from classical rapier or foil fencing with your hand down here on the cane for reach, that'll probably put him down. The other fun part, come this way a little bit again, is from the half sword or the half umbrella. Right? Take it and you put it in this little area right here, right above their bones, and you just make them sit flat on the ground. Right? If you thrust to their throat with a stick, you may well kill them. So you got to be careful. Sticks are dangerous. Swords and sticks are clearly related. Right? Sometimes they're even the same thing. So this is a nice sword cane with this little disgusting small sword blade in it. These are cool, but I gotta say, I agree with Allenson Wynne on this one, where he says, any man who is trained to fight with a stick has no need of a sword within it. It merely escalates the fight and leads to unnecessary death. And you have fewer choices of being non-lethal when you pull out a sword cane than if you just have a stick, which is something they were concerned about at the time, just as you ought to be today if you get in a fight with someone. You don't always have to kill them. All right, while we don't sell canes or sticks particularly, we do sell a lot of swords. So check out our website. No Patricks were harmed in the making of this video. Thank you.